Felicitations! It is me, Felicia Day, and this is my podcast. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I am thrilled to have this 82nd episode of the podcast out. So it's a good day, and I have been traveling quite a bit. I will tell you, I have been on the road 3 times this month, which is poopy. I've been at the airport more times than I would really care to do. But at the same time, I went to Austin to visit my family, and I went to Phoenix, and I went to Santa Fe to do a short film. I do want to give a shout out before I get into all that to Netflix Geek Week. I was able to host Umbrella Academy, The Sandman, and do an unlocked episode for Stranger Things Season 4. I got to watch all those episodes in advance. So if y'all felt like what is Felicia doing in April? I was watching 48 hours of TV. All of it's so good. I feel so honored that they would trust their biggest cast with me. And just to be able to talk with such incredible artists, what a thrill. So if y'all didn't catch those panels and the Unlocked episode, they are all up on the Netflix YouTube page. And please leave a comment that you like my hosting so they will have me back because I love, 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 love doing it. It is truly a pleasure. And the people behind the scenes at Geeked, Netflix Geeked, they're true fans. They love fandom. They know how to speak to fandom in an authentic way. They're not some corporation who's putting on the moves just to get fans to like their stuff. They genuinely care, and they are in touch with the audience. So I went to Austin to visit my family. I went to Phoenix Fan Fusion, my first con in a while. And I also went to Santa Fe to do a little short, and I can't tell you anything about it, but it really got me into the mindset of acting more, and I'm really excited about that. I know that most of you know that I don't have an agent, and I haven't been pursuing acting for a couple years now. I've been so busy with everything else and COVID and everything, so I keep waffling. Going back and forth whether I want to dive into this fetid sewer that is the Hollywood process of actor getting any jobs. But at the same time, the actual acting is so fun. So, and I just got a really cool hosting job. I'm going to be working on this really cool project throughout the fall. And so I'm actually quite it gives me a stability where I don't need to be desperate for these jobs, which is wonderful. And I know that I'm good at something and I'm already doing it. I'm working. And so I am thrilled. Speaking of hosting, I'm not sure if any of you caught it for Geeked Week, Netflix Geeked Week. I am so privileged to have interviewed the cast of Umbrella Academy, the Sandman cast, and done a Stranger Things Unlocked, which is like a whole long interview with all sorts of cast members from Stranger Things. So I couldn't tell you all about this, but if I sounded stressed in April, that's because I was flying to New York. I was working in LA. I was binging all the shows because I didn't want to be unfamiliar. So I watched all of Umbrella Academy. I watched all of Stranger Things again. And the new season, which is the episodes are quite long. If you will have to, oh no, we didn't do it. Craig. Oh no, I forgot to put Craig on. I started it. Rocket, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Rocket Soup, who I do record Felicitations to a live audience. And, yeah, it's okay. I'll figure it out, y'all. I'll fix it later. I'll fix it in post. Take 2. So anyway, I'm now recording my podcast, and I will redo the intro, and it'll sound, awkward. So I did I had to watch all the episodes of all these shows. And I have to tell you, they are so good. Before I would not take hosting jobs. I was very much like, I don't like to cross the streams. I don't want to be a mini Chris Hardwick. It's not my deal. And I think that I let that go in that I know you can do both. I don't know why I had this in my head that I couldn't do both. Although, when I first started out as an actor, you couldn't do TV and do movies. You couldn't do soaps and do network TV. There were a lot of you couldn't be a host and a TV show. So I think I sort of had this kind of antiquated idea of how people perceive you in Hollywood. And so anyway, yes, To the people in the audience who are listening right now, yes, I did watch the Sandman episodes, and I cannot tell you anything about them, okay? Nothing, except I love this show so much. I love the cast. I love the comic. The comic is one of my favorite comics. So if you're a comic fan, I could tell you, um, Neil Gaiman says it's his Sandman, and I think that's very exciting. So anyway, um, yeah, it's been a really wonderful process because I just kind of relaxed into what I'm doing. And I'm just genuinely interested in all of these artists and their work. And it's just wonderful. And Neil Gaiman did do a wonderful, sweet tweet to me. And he is such an adorable, wonderful, talented, incredible human. And I hate to drop names like that, but he's just great. So it's been such a wonderful ride, and then I have to tell you, the Netflix Geeked team, I would not have done this had I not known that these are genuine geek people. They are people who from IGN, they are people from Twitch. They're like the people behind the scenes are people I have known for, I either worked with or encountered at other companies, and they are genuine, loving, they love what they do and they love geekdom. And it's not like a marketing thing, like trying to market to the geeks. No, these are real people who understand it. And that's why it's such a joy to work with them because, my input is appreciated on the questions and they always come with questions that are already fantastic. It's not like I have to rewrite anything. It's just me getting excited and be like, oh, can we add this? And they're like, yes. So it's just really great. Also, yes, I did wear some great dresses. Okay. And I hate dresses unless somebody else picks one out for me and puts it on my body. And then, anywho. So it was a wonderful experience, and I really hope y'all can watch the panels that I did with them. The panels are not spoilery. The one for Umbrella Academy and the Sandman, it's really just getting to know the cast, getting to know kind of the vision, and just getting hyped for the seasons. And the Stranger Things was an unlocked, so you can watch, I believe, episodes 1 through 6. I think there's more episodes coming out. There's like a chapter 2, but I can't tell you anything about that. I just know that chapter 1 dropped a ton of awesomeness on your doorstep. And if you like the show and you like any kind of horror, because it actually is more horror than other seasons, and the cast is older, and it can just be a lot grittier. And wow, it's so well done. So yeah, chapter 2 starts July 1st. Thank you for that in the chat. See, this is why I love doing my podcast live to an audience because unlike Undressing with my friend Tom Lank, we say that we haven't done our research and then nobody can do our research for us live. Unlike this podcast where I can always just glance at the chat and one of them can turn on the recording for me and one of them can, correct literally everything I say wrong. So appreciate you all. Just for the Geeks members in the audience, I will be missing the Tuesdays for Tuesdays. I'm going to see if Ryan maybe wants to log on and maybe do something for you guys, but stay tuned for that. And then Creativity Hour will be pushed later into the week. So we will get them done and we will do our book club as well. It is my birthday month, just to remind all of you, it's my birthday at the end of the month. And I don't know, if I do anything, it'll just be a charity stream. I am trying to build a library for my kids' new school. But I don't really know how to, I guess I could put a wish list on Amazon or something and people could send me books to donate, but I don't know how to do it. So I'll figure it out. But it's my birthday. It's my birthday. And I don't know. I'm going to go maybe on a little road trip and go up the coast or something because I do not want to go to the airport. Like I said, I've been to the airport 3 times this month and it has been too much entirely. I went to Phoenix Fan Fusion. I went to do this short film and I visited my parents. And it was too much. It was just too much. It was too much. Strangely, the one where I took my daughter with me, I had the best time. She was a great little traveler. She's only 5 years old and she carried her own suitcase and her little black backpack. She was such an amazing traveler. And I had this vision of us going around the world one day. I'm like, I'm going to save all my credit card points and save up all my miles. And we are going to go around the world together one day. When she's like 12 or 13, I'll just pull her out of school and we'll do this grand adventure together. And I'm just like, for sure, driving a van, solving mysteries. Exactly. And it's just been, the older she gets. So I guess I'll just jump right into it. It's been pretty hard this week. May has been, I've done traveling. I had to write a speech for sort of like a corporate job, but I took it because they had such an amazing vision for the seminars they were doing. It was very much into female empowerment. And writing a speech was absolute torture, but I was really proud of what I came up with. Hopefully, I'll get to deliver that speech somewhere else because I was like, oh, this is good advice. But mostly it's been just a lot of kid stuff this month. And I don't know if y'all are parents or not. If you're not, you're really bored right now. I totally understand. But boy, oh boy, I thought it was going to get easier the older the kid got. And it's definitely harder because there's just so much stuff. There's just lessons and school events and birthday parties. And it is just all consuming. And I'm leaving one school and then transitioning into another because she graduated preschool and now she's going into kindergarten. And so I'm doing events for both schools and I'm doing fundraising for both schools. And it's just, boy, it is, it's a lot, y'all. It is a lot. So I guess we'll see what happens. And I also, my nanny of 5 years, and I really don't even like saying I have a nanny, but at the same time, I think people don't like, especially people in the public eye, they don't tell people that the only way that we could do this is with help. The only way, especially a woman, can do motherhood and career is to have childcare. And whether it's, a nanny in your home or daycare or family or staying at home, I mean, just you have to have help. It is single mothers and single fathers as well. I just want to give you a shout out because what you do is near impossible. You probably don't have any time to yourself at all. And I just want to give you a hug, all of you, and say you're incredible parents. You're doing your very best. And wow, are you a hero? You truly are a hero. So anyway, and also having somebody very close to me, traveling with me sometimes, taking care, being like a substitute parent for my child sometimes, it's very hard to see that person leave your life. And so that has been a real emotional situation. Also, me trying to just kind of like literally, I was trying to gamify it over the last 2 months where I would be, and yeah, I want to give a shout out also to caretakers of older parents or grandparents, anybody who's caring for somebody else who can't take care of themselves all the time. You sacrifice so much of yourself for the people you love. And of course, they appreciate it most of the time. But you can't live 100% for yourself. And if you've ever had that moment where you are living 100% for yourself, boy, oh boy, do you remember those times very vividly when you are sacrificing yourself all the time. So I just want to give you a shout out and also tell you that you can't take care of other people if you don't take care of yourself. So if you are the rock, you got to make sure that the tides aren't hitting you to crumble you too hard because, you're the one. You're the one. So, yeah, it's been really tough. So basically I you know how you tower defense things? You know that a disaster is coming, so you just go like, okay, I'm going to put the towers here, blah blah blah. That's what I've been doing for probably the last 3 months. So, well, actually the last 6 since January. So I've literally been laying down a schedule of like, okay, Calliope is going to start as an immersion school. So she needs to speak, we need to start these lessons and exposure. And I was like, we'll go to Mexico once and she'll see people speaking it. And we'll do these podcasts and we'll do this app starting this day. And yes, it sounds kind of psychotic, but it has made the transition into that easier. And the same thing with the childcare. Even though she was still working, quote unquote, working full time, I literally was like, okay, so we'll drop Wednesdays this time. It'll only be 3 hours this day. And then over the next 2 months, blah, blah, blah. I have the privilege of being able to do that. So yeah, it is, whoof. But my kid's not freaking out. She's seems comfortable with the transitions. And that's kind of like, woo. No, she's been a little difficult, but no emotional disaster where it feels like the bottom has dropped out from her under her life. Same thing. She's finishing preschool this week and graduating tomorrow. And so, just kind of transitioning out of that situation it's a lot. I mean, I can't shield her from everything, but I can make things smooth and I can try to teach her how to deal with the problems. That's literally all we can do. So we'll see. It is a huge mental load. And I was wondering why I was having such a hard time this last month starting on my novel. Because as you know, I finished my graphic novel draft. I'm waiting for feedback, waiting for artists, like all of this stuff. I'm just waiting. And that was at the first week of May. And I'm like, "You could start on your novel now. You have time." And I literally don't have the energy. I just play this game called Vampire Survivor every day, and it is so addictive. Um, yeah, it's so addictive. I'm just jumping to my recommendations. I really didn't read anything else, unfortunately, this month. We do have a book club, and we read Convenience Store Woman, which was really awesome. It was a really, really, really wonderful, really short book, and it was different from what we usually do. And it was, yeah, I really had a great time. Our new book is this new book? I don't even know what the name of it is. Um, it is about, oh, here we go. It's about mushrooms. So it's called Entangled Life: How Fungi Make Our Worlds Change Our Mind and Shape Our Futures, called Merlin by Merlin Sheldrake. Now, first of all, I don't think it's about drug tripping, although it's probably in here because especially if you go to Northern California, people love those mushrooms. Um, no judgment. Do we need, as long as it's safe. I will say that a man named Merlin Sheldrake seems like an RPG character. I'm not really sure how this guy seemed to get named Merlin Sheldrake. If he's not British, it's like, what are you doing, man? So I don't know. I'm gonna start it. It's just I have not had any bandwidth to do anything else. But I really would love to get back more into reading, but I'm reading the one book club suggestion. So I urge y'all, if you want to join in, definitely join us. So I will say the one thing I did accomplish this month, besides everything of that. Also, okay, I have two other things to talk about. Also, ballet recitals are really stupid. So my kid is in ballet class, and I didn't really want her to be in ballet class. I put her in jujitsu just so I want her to be able to wrestle anyone off of her that she doesn't want on her. Okay, in life, that's it. So I have her in that, and then she takes piano. And, occasionally she'll take like a cooking class or something, but the only other regular class she has is ballet. Now that's a lot of classes. I get it. I'm a bougie West Coast, lady. But I was raised on lessons, so that's all, I'm focused on what do you want to do? And I'm trying not to push her anyway. She wants to do ballet. So okay, ballet's fine, but the whole recital thing is such a scam. It's like a prefix menu, y'all, at Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve, okay? That's what it is. First of all, it's a lot of money. You get guilted into spending $100 to do a good job, Calliope, in the program, okay? Did it. You have to pay a ton of money for the costumes. You have to pay a recital fee. You have to spend days rehearsing and taking pictures and doing all this rigmarole, and then your child is put in a very gender-biased, fluffy little thing just so you can invite your family and they look cute, but they're not really learning. Okay? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So I don't want her to do more ballet. So she did say I want to do gymnastics, which terrifies me. But I'm like, well, I don't want her to be like flipping, but she can learn how to do a handstand and a walk. She said, "Mama, I want to learn how to walk on my hands." And I'm like, that's random, but I'm going to try to get you to do that, get her to do it. So yeah, I just don't like dance recital, and I don't like the whole culture of these little girls because it's all little girls dressed up and I don't know, it just feels real exploitative in a weird way, and I know people really probably love it, and when my kid was on stage, it was as if it was, Mikhail Baryshnikov, okay? Of course I loved seeing her on the stage, but she said, "Mama, I was really afraid. I didn't wanna go up there." And I asked her, "Well, do you," and I gave it to her, I was like, "Do you want to do more ballet? Do you wanna do another recital?" She said, "No." So I spent 30 minutes on the internet trying to find a ballet school or a dance school, any dance school, that doesn't have a recital in Los Angeles, one of the largest cities in the world. No. Every single one of these places have a dance recital. No. I don't wanna do it. Ugh. I'm not doing it. So anyway, why can't we just have a class where it's just, let's move for fun? Why can't we just do that? Why do we have to teach kids steps and teach them that art is for other people? Art, that's what I really don't like about it. They're teaching kids from a very young age that the art that you do is to be presented for other people and not foster it in their heart first. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, performance is part of art forms sometimes, most of the time, but especially when little kids don't have like skills and they don't feel like, oh wow, I'm mature enough to remember a routine and show off something I'm proud of. No, they just put these little kids in tutus up there. I don't know. She was damn cute. I will tell you that. Okay. Last thing I wanted to talk about before I get into Vampire Survivor and all these other things that are going on is um I've really struggled this month on top of everything that's been going on. I've really struggled because I saw a psychiatrist finally. After going off Lexapro for several months, I told y'all I was not in a good place. It was very, very erratic, up and down, my mood. And I saw a psychiatrist who specializes in women issues. And she said, you have PMDD, which is basically extreme PMS. And sometimes I developed it after I had my baby. So my hormones have never gone right again since I had a baby. And I've really, really struggled. And the Lexapro helped for a while, but some of the side effects were really poopy. So I went off of it to see if it would get okay. It was tolerable. My sleep was better, but it was not okay. I would yo-yo from being so depressed to being so anxious, and it really I was sleeping well like a third of the month. So anyway, and there was a lot of stress going on. It's a lot of things right now, and I don't react well to stress. I've worked on it for years. It's moderately better. So anyway, I did see the psychiatrist. I'm very transparent about this because I really want anybody who's in the same kind of place as me to be persistent in seeking help. Maybe you seek the help and you decide not to do, what, but at least you know your options, right? So I started a new drug called Prestique, which is, I guess, related to Effexor. And it's a sort of antidepressant slash anxiety drug. And it was very hard to settle into it. It was very, 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 very hard. I'm still doing it. Um, my sleep is still not very great. I'm giving another month, and the doctor upped my dosage. She was like, I don't know if you're on the right dose. Let's double the dose. And I was like, ugh, really? It's actually a little bit better now, but my sleep is still a little bit like skipping a pebble on the top of the sea. So somebody just posted. I usually don't react to chat, but somebody just posted. I've been off my meds, and you guys have inspired me to get help. I'm seeing a doctor tomorrow. Yay! That's exactly what I want to hear. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. I really want to wish you all the best because boy, oh boy, yes, it's a big struggle to start and stop medication. You don't know if it's going to work. When I first started Lexapro, it took about 3 months to work. It took about 3 months for it to stabilize and really start to change my mood for the better and the way I cope with things. You know, this drug I'm on now doesn't make me sleepy. The Lexapro made me super sleepy, and the Lexapro made me less anxious. This drug makes me less, mood. It stabilizes my mood, but I'm still having a lot of anxiety, and the sleep is better than on so it's just every single thing is going to be different, and it is such a struggle to know whether it's working or not because you have to give it time, and the time is not something you want to put into because you just want it to be fixed now, and it's really, really, really interesting. So I will say that now I'm feeling a lot better, but it's taken about 6 weeks, and I'm giving it another 3 weeks just to see what it works out. It is it's nice to have a diagnosis that makes sense, and it's science-based, and I did a lot of research, and I did a lot of tracking of my mood, and it was a lot of work. It's been months process, but it's all toward something that hopefully will make my state of mind and my creativity ultimately, because that's what the most important thing to me. But I do need to be stable because, yeah, I was super creative. You kind of feel like, oh, I'm going to give up my creativity if I get more stable. No, it's not. I promise you, your instability is not giving you that. Anyway, I am not grinding my teeth on Prestige. Thank you for asking me. So anyway, yeah, it's all good. Let's see. For my con schedule, anybody who is going to any cons, I added one remaining con, and it was Wales. So I will be in Telford in December. I'm going to Australia next week. So I will be in Sydney and Melbourne for All Hell Breaks Loose. I'm very excited. I'll be traveling with Misha and Rob and a bunch of other, I think Osric is going. So it's going to be super fun. And then after that, I'll be at Salt Lake City, and I will be at Emerald City, and I will be at Dublin. I will go to Dublin before that, which is very exciting. And New York City Comic Con, and then whales, and that is it. I am not adding any more. I will not add more. Do you know why? Because I did that would be 8 for the year, and it looks good on the display that my mod Rocket Soup made. So that's very nice of you. I will not be going to San Diego Comic Con. I've decided not to go this year. If I go down, it'll just be for like a friend or just, to see some people. And then I will not have public appearances because I don't have anything new to talk about. And I'm trying to be sensitive to myself as an artist. And I know that there's a guild anniversary. Hopefully, we'll be doing something online. If not, it will be in our hearts. And for me as an artist, I've been for years seeking to really redefine myself as someone who does more than one project. And I know I have the big project that everyone will always associate with me, but I'm finally in process on a couple of things I really, really love. My graphic novel, another big project I'm working on for years is now in casting stages, and it's very, very exciting. And so I'm like excited to go next year because I will have new things to talk about. And this year, it felt like, you know what? I don't want to only celebrate the things I've done in the past. And I just want to be cognizant of what I know it would be a really wonderful celebration for the fans. And it was a really hard decision. But we can always celebrate the guild when, either online or just together in a small community on my Twitch, and it's all good. So it's all good. So that's my spring. Oh, that's kind of my schedule. I kind of just realized my schedule is kind of set for the year, or pretty much. And I'm like, "Oh, no." So, the one thing I will say that I have been doing that I'm super, super proud. Oh, you know what? I actually need to give some shout outs before we do this. We do have 2 shout outs to give. Thank you so much for claiming a shout out on my Geex page, rally.io/creator/geeks. It is my social token. Yes, it is very, not understandable, but it is very wonderful. We have a nice community where I do hangouts every week for everybody who's a member, and I think it's like $3 to join at this point, so why aren't you just go ahead and do it? Random Dude 951 says, "Greeting, Felicia's. How are you? Just want to express my thanks for your efforts today, specifically for your podcast. Whether you are interviewing someone or chatting solo, it's always a good listen. I've always enjoyed your sense of humor, but the other thing I really like is how authentic you are. You talk about the ups and downs and how you navigate through both. I have found that to be quite helpful in dealing with my own ups and downs. Thank you again for your awesomeness." Thank you, Random Dude. Did I meet you in Phoenix? I think I did meet you in Phoenix, and if it did not, I'm sorry. There was another Random Dude. We also have a Cleves Mill, always giving a shout out. Felicitations, a word derived from Latin meaning happy, fortunate, or fruitful. A French word meaning to honor someone with congratulations, success, or an important milestone. A wonderfully entertaining and fun podcast that makes you smile, laugh, and think. All 3 fit this podcast perfectly. Lesson 3, Cleves Mill. Thank you, Cleves Mill. Always nice of you to always support what I do. So if you guys want to get a shout out on the next Felicitations, just go to rally.io/creator/geeks. It is a campaign thing. So before I get into what I've consumed, which is really just Vampire Survivors, which is a $3.99 game on Steam. You can play it on the Mac as well. It is the most addictive. You know what it reminds me of, y'all? It reminds me of Castlevania on my Game Boy, black and white Game Boy when I was like 6 years old. Was my first like true love. I think I had a crush on that Castlevania. I had that Castlevania and I had Tetris. And those 2 cartridges, I think I broke them. I played those games so much on my Game Boy. I love that thing so much. I want to get one for my kid. So it is Gauntlet plus Galaga. That's a good analogy, Rocket Soup. Vampire Survivors, Gauntlet plus Galaga. And you know what's wonderful about it? It has a lot of layers. So it looks just like, it looks like an arcade game. But then when you start to unlock more characters, you start to unlock achievements, you start to build your characters, you start to power up. There's a whole nother layer of the game once you get deeper into it. The lore is super deep and it is $4. So many unlockables. I apologize to my community on my Twitch and my Discord for getting them all hooked. The number of hours of man and woman hours and, just person hours that we have probably as a community spent on this game. It's really bad. Also, you can unlock a sloth and a bear that throws cherry bombs and a witch that has cats. So there's some very wacky things. I just love it. And unfortunately, since I've been traveling so much, I've been able to play it quite a bit on my laptop. It's a Mac laptop and it plays perfectly on a Mac. So yeah. But in addition to that, before I get into our questions, and the only TV I really watched, other than all of the binging that I had to do for Netflix Geeked, thank you so much. What a horrible thing to have to do for a job. I did watch Our Flag Means Death, but that we're talking about on Undressed. So if you want to hear Tom and I undress Our Flag Means Death, go over there to our next episode. We will be doing, we're doing it in 2 parts. All right. So I will say, I've been the one thing I'm proud of, I'm proud of a lot of things, but I'm so proud of myself for uninstalling social media on my phone and installing language programs instead. Now, I know y'all, I've been learning language. I had the Memorize app and I had the Duolingo, and they're okay. But at a certain point, you're just kind of learning phrases and you're not really conversing. And I went to italki.com, which is a great place you can get a very inexpensive tutors from around the world. And so I looked into that. I haven't had time to schedule anybody, but I stumbled upon this free resource called languageimmersion.org. Y'all, this is my new obsession, and it's free. Although I'm going to donate like $100 pretty soon because I love it so much. And what I love about it is that I put my earbuds in. I'm either on a plane, I'm going around the airport, I'm walking around the block waiting for my kid. I can't even tell you how fascinating. So basically, it's audio only. You are not supposed to write anything down. You're not supposed to memorize anything. This guy, I don't know who this guy is. He's Dutch or German from his accent, right? But he must speak like 5, 6 languages, and he's a linguist. So he has Spanish complete. So it's 90 audio lessons. And it's kind of a dialectic thing where he's teaching this girl how to speak Spanish. And they go back and forth. And what you're supposed to do with each lesson is pause it when he says, how do you say, how would you say, I sold it to him? And you're supposed to pause and answer, and then you play and you hear the girl answer, usually correctly. But if you do that, you actually learn. And that's the only thing you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to and so he teaches you also how to transfer what you know from English over to Spanish. So, for instance, like, now I can't think of any, he'll say, what is what is can in Spanish? Think power. Give you power. And then it's poder. So he basically helps you associate something you already know in English that will help you change no words in Spanish. A lot of adjectives are like that. If it has an ly at the end, it's a certain, ending on an adverb. And now that I have to say it out loud, I'm getting like sweating because I feel like I'm being tested. But anyway, my recall is going to crap. But I have learned so much, and it makes learning the language so fun, and it also is so empowering. So I just want to say, if you want to learn Spanish, the complete course is up there. I believe they do have Arabic and French and one other language up there that they're working on, and they have a Patreon. I've got to join the Patreon. It's languagetransfer.org. Languagetransfer.org. They have a whole app. If you want to learn Spanish, you can download the whole app with all 90 podcast episodes. And so I've listened to a lot of the podcast episodes several times. When I listen to them, I'll listen to about 3 a day, and then I'll start the next day with the last one that I listened to. So basically, I try to listen to each one twice, especially if it's a little harder. So they're talking about like haber, like trying to learn past tense. So, a, hemos, it's really, really fun. And what's cool about it is that I've tried so many language things. And this is the only one where I'm like, I love the fact just I can walk around with headphones in and I don't have to remember, oh gosh, I got to write this down. Because he's like, I don't want you to write. He's teaching you a method to think so that you're associating, what you know, but also you're just thinking about grammar and how you deal with grammar in forming a sentence while you're while you're talking. So yes, they have free courses. It's all free. It's a .org. They have French, Swahili, Italian, Greek, German, Turkish, Arabic, Spanish, and they have English for Spanish speakers. And then he's doing music now. He's doing music theory. I just want to tell you, I don't know, this guy put in so much time here. I am astonished. So it's amazing. So I don't know what to tell you, but I love it. Also, if you are learning Spanish, there is also a thing called dreamingspanish.com, and it does have a subscription fee that I haven't paid for yet because I have so many free videos, but it's a video of seeing people speak only in Spanish to you. And I've noticed that using these two things together, I've gotten way farther than I have in just doing the apps. I think the Duolingo and Memorize apps are good. Memorize is good for phrases. Duolingo is good for just kind of rote learning and things like that. So I think everything does a little bit different thing. At the end of the day, you really have to speak with somebody. So I'm really going to get into the tutoring thing pretty soon. I feel when I'm going to finish my audio course with the 90 things, and then I'm going to start twice weekly conversation partner so that I can kind of absorb and practice. I know I should do it earlier. I just can't do it. So I'm at school. I'm missing my pantalones. See? Yeah, it's good. So yeah, I love it. So I'm really and I have to say I will never be fluent, but I do love language learning. And as a hobby before I did the guild or was a public figure at all, I just would love dabbling in languages. And I'm kind of sad I never really went hardcore after it and became fluent earlier in my life. It was definitely something I had an interest in and I never was able to just kind of do it. So, don't live with regrets. If you really have something you really like, get into it now and go for it. But it's never too late to start either. Okay. So let me answer questions because some people asked some good questions this week. Let me see. Lucifer from Discord asks, do you still get fan vibes for other guest names when you work at a convention? Oh my gosh, yes. Are you kidding? I get really excited when I meet other people from like shows that I haven't been on. I mean, Diana Guerrero was at a show, I think Phoenix, who plays Isabella from Encanto, and my daughter adores that character. She adores this. I've listened to the song probably 55 times. And so I accidentally had like dinner with her. I was at a table with her and I just couldn't stop staring. I was like, oh. When I see some people like Wallace Shawn, like I'm freaking out. I'm just like so excited. I saw John Cleese and I almost started crying. So there are a bunch of people, I have some people who I'm super, super admire. And they're usually people who I've found earlier in my life, but like like I was so fangirling. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful, but also what a voice, what an actor. Of course, I said nothing to her, but I did get a selfie with John Cleese. I did. I got in line and I was I was trembling. I mean, and that's so one thing I will tell you now that Phoenix Fan Fusion really said it to me. It's been 10 years since I was there. And I can't tell you how many women in their mid-20s came up to me and was like, "Hey, I found the guild when I was in high school and it was so important to me." And yeah, that could make you feel old, but I was just so gratified. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I reached the people I wanted to reach with my work, and I wanna do that again. I wanna do that every time I have work." I reach somebody and they were like, "You didn't make me feel alone. I felt seen. I felt okay being me because you were so awkward, and I really felt like I was in the same place." And I was like, "Wow." You know, I really did what I accomplished to do, which was to touch people with my journey, and that's the best thing we can hope for in our art, however big, however widespread it becomes. So, that's become like my sort of thing now. I watched her stuff in high school. I watched her stuff. And yeah, I mean, the guild is like old now, but at the same time, it feels fresh and new because it's obviously affected people in that way. So it's kind of beautiful. Um, so yeah, thank you, Lucifer. David McDaniels 831 asks, how would you describe to someone who isn't familiar with you what creative endeavor has bringing you the most joy? Oh my God, there's a big spider here. Get out of here, spider! Oh my God, just a second. Oh my God, it's just get out of here. Oh my gosh, I can't. It's going around and around the handle of my chair. Okay, I'll just keep going. All right. I feel that family parenting is under the broader creative endeavor category. Wow, this is interesting. What creative endeavor bringing you the most joy? Well, probably is bringing me. It's interesting. I don't know what joy. That's an interesting question because the guild was wonderful and brought me retroactive joy, but I didn't find it to be joyful during it. Geek and Sundry either. It was just so stressful, and I really didn't know how to cope and handle success or failure or anything. I think Supernatural has to be something that I really had joy doing because I felt like somebody else finally created a character where I felt seen myself. And to be able to play that character and then show other people that character and have them feel seen as well was really wonderful. I will say that the 2 projects I'm working on right now, the big projects, uh, the, I don't know if they're gonna be hugely successful. I mean, I can't predict that. Most people have one big thing in the world, and that's I got my chance, but I will say that the 2 things that I'm working on now, I feel very joyful and proud of creatively, and I really hope they're received like that, and if not, I still had the joy in creating it, and that's enough, and that's all we can really hope for. It's the same thing I felt with the guild, so I do feel very joyful in these new things that I'm finally feel like I've gotten back to my voice, and I think that has been my quest for many years after burning out very badly at the end of the guild and with Geek and Sundry. I think it was creatively very, very, very difficult for me to make anything for myself anymore because I didn't know who I was. And I was so far away from myself in many, many ways. And I kind of bottomed out. I mean, when I look back on the last 10 years, I see somebody who really crashed and burned. And sometimes I think from the point of a view of especially somebody in Hollywood who was like, oh, wow, that girl was so successful. What happened to her? I'm like, what happened is I got well adjusted. I got my feet back on the ground and I got back into my own body because you know, I really was making things I love, but it just was not possible to do in a healthy way as who I was at the time. But I don't even know if anybody was totally well adjusted could have done what I did under that kind of pressure, under those kind of budgets. And, you know, it was flying too high from the sun. It was definitely Icarus. And when I think back on it, I wish I could protected myself more, but I didn't. And that's why it's taken so long to get back to my creative voice in my work. And so, finally, I do feel like I know what I want to be seen in my work. And I know I keep talking about these projects because it's been so many years, but next year they will be out in one form or another. And I really, I want to keep doing things like that. I think, you know, while I was so burnt out, I kind of looked to Hollywood to sort of give me structure and be like, okay, I can't come up with my own stuff. Let me try to write your stuff. And I did it a lot. And it was awful. It just wasn't for me. I just applaud anybody who can be in the system and writing things for other people all the time and sort of changing their stuff for it's just not who I am and not the kind of writer I want to be. And I mean, I don't know, I just don't have those skills, emotional or like as a writer. So I'm really, really grateful for especially, I hate to say I'm grateful for COVID, but I am grateful for what was forcing me to stop doing things and seeking approval in areas that were never going to approve of what I would give me fulfillment. And now that I'm like, okay, this is a smaller life. You can live this smaller life. It's okay because you are having more joy, like David asked, more joy in my work. And that really is the goal for me. And have joy in my family because my daughter is so wonderful and I see her growing up and she's going to escape my orbit pretty soon, I know, especially when she goes to full time school. And so just um, making sure that I'm embedded in her emotional life and I'm always there for her no matter how far she goes. I can be a little more, I can be the orbit, or I can be the planet that she orbits around and doesn't fly too close to the sun like I did. I hope that I can do that for her, or be there when she burns herself out, and helps her get up. Okay, let me go on. 3 asks, this is a real weird question. You seem excited in beta podcast number 79 about getting some balls in your mouth. When it comes to balls, do you have a preference? Also, what cooked meat would you pair with your nut-covered cheese ball if you were making your own charcuterie board? I don't even understand this question, so I just had to read it to you. Um, I'm really confused, okay? What cooked meat would you pair with your nut-covered cheese ball? I mean, isn't that like a smoked meat? Wouldn't you want like a cured meat? And why is it a cheese ball? When did I talk about the balls? I don't remember 3 episodes ago. Are you kidding? Was I talking about balls, potato balls? There is a place called Porto's in Los Angeles, and if you're ever in Los Angeles, get those potato ham balls. Okay, other people in chat are remembering me talking about some kind of balls. So, all right, let me go on. Or let Merlin, let me know, gone. 3. I would say if I was gonna put a cooked meat on my nut-covered cheese balls. Oh, yeah, I think I was talking about how much I love cheese balls with nuts on them. And that was I know, because I went to a party and there was actual, like, a spread, and I was like, how much I missed, free cheese, essentially. Okay, it's all adding up, okay. But I wouldn't wanna put meat on cheese. Not that I'm kosher, but I don't like I mean, I would need those separate. I don't really like prosciutto. I do like cured roast beef. That's one of my favorites. When I went to Sweden, I had cured reindeer, kind of like really thinly sliced. It was really, 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 really good. So I will say I will say that. I'm gonna say cured reindeer meat. Oh, what a weird question. Okay, I love all of you. Richard Gagnon on Twitter asks, since you've mentioned Jason Momoa a lot on Undressing Witcher, you might get a kick out of seeing him clean-shaven and less massive when he first came into fame on Baywatch. Young Momoa or modern Momoa? So there's also a link here about, and this is super hilarious because he looks like a baby, like the babiest baby. He is such a baby. And look at him on so he doesn't have a beard. He just looks like a young guy who just got out of high school. It's hilarious. And I picked this question. It is hilarious. I picked this question because it's so funny seeing people when they were younger. The one that stands out to me, first of all, I think older Jason Momoa is way hotter. Obviously, he's bigger, but that's not even the appeal. It's just he's got character in his face and he's got a beard, which is normally not hot to me. And I'm just like, that is so hot. So I challenge y'all to go to YouTube and look up George Clooney from Golden Girls because, it's one thing to, let me link you Jason Momoa from Baywatch. It's another thing to be watching an episode and have a huge movie star show up randomly in a guest star role in an old TV show. That's when you aren't actually seeking it out. It really hits you in the face in a wonderful way. So I will say that it was fantastic. And you definitely, watching old TV shows, you get so many. I mean, I saw Nathan Fillion. Remember him on a Pizza Girl? 2 guys, a girl, and a pizza girl. And you're just like, what? And then you just start laughing. When I was in Phoenix, I was walking along, which you do not want to do in Phoenix. It was in May. It was 8:30 a.m. and it was 95 degrees. I don't know how people live there. Kudos, shout out to y'all if you can survive that. It was a 10-minute walk felt like I was in a sauna. But I walked by a theater. It was a kids' theater. And on the wall was Emma Stone. And it was a picture of Emma Stone when she was like 10 years old playing, I think it was like the evil stepmother or something. And it was Emma Stone. You could just see, but it was like, oh my gosh, she was so young. It was so cool to see. Chad is mentioning Leonard Nimoy on Quincy. Yes. Did any of you watch Kroll? I think I mentioned this on Undressing. Kroll has Liam Neeson at 17 years old. And he's Liam Neeson, but he's 17. So, yeah, it is really fun to see big actors and things that you don't expect them to pop up on. So that is my delight. And I seeing Jason Momoa in Baywatch, which is not a show I would ever watch myself. That was a delight. So thank you for linking that to us. Anyway, that's all I have tonight. It's gonna be I'm just gonna wrap it up. If you guys want to follow the Felicitations wiki, my friend and moderator Sean Send a Looky Look maintains one. It's pretty updated. Felicitation.fandom.com. No pressure. It's not totally updated. Sorry, Sean. But anything he does is most appreciated. And yeah, it's all good. So if you would like to join our book club, again, the Geeks Hangouts are going to be a little erratic this month because of my travel schedule. I will try to get my tarot card reading done at some point with the chat. Check my Discord for announcements. My streaming is going to be very erratic this month as well. Check the Discord for the schedules. Just don't assume that I'm streaming, although back in July, except for the first weekend, I will be very consistent and back to my 3 times a week schedule. It's just going to be hard. And, that's just what it is. I'm not a full-time streamer. It has to come second sometimes. But I will tell you, hanging out with you guys on the internet is my very favorite thing. So if you have any questions, please post them on the Discord or at Twitter with hashtag Felicitations. Sean does compile them for me in a spreadsheet because he's double awesome. And yeah, I could definitely use some new questions. So send them out and I will fix the beginning of this podcast later. All right. See y'all later. Bye.